And where do you see you guys, going in the next sort of 3, 4, 5 years as technology changes, Google Glass comes in, and as the access to information, it all becomes cloud and companies
totally
become smaller.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our job really is to make sure that the right content and information is getting to the right people at the right time. And what that means is, if someone is using, if Google Glass becomes, a truly kind of respected enterprise piece of kit, then we'll start writing software for that. If it means we've got to push Huddle data into SAP because that's what customers demand, we'll do that as well. I mean, what we try and do is be very kind of customer-led in terms of the development that we're doing.
Is IPOs things that are in the future? You don't want to put you on the spot, but I know Box has talked about it. They're in the similar industry as you. Is this something that you see as an inevitability, or even a plus, or do you see it as a minus when you see some of these companies that have gone that road?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think every entrepreneur has the big dream of taking their company public. Not every company, is IPO ready. Not every company is really IPO worthy. I think a lot of eyebrows are raised when Box's S1 was filed and came out a couple of weeks ago. It's a terrific company, fantastic brand, good software, but they burnt through $140 million last year.
Yeah.
So they were 240 down, 100 up. It's a ridiculously cash-intensive business. But you compare that to someone like Workday, also enterprise software, and they are far leaner. Their customer acquisition cost is lower. These guys are public now and trading at something like ridiculous, like 17x revenue. That's a good business.
Wow. So no immediate plans IPO. Just cross that bridge when you come to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's on our roadmap. We'd love to get there. I mean, who knows? We might be so attractive to somebody that they can't keep their hands off us, and we get snapped up along the way. But our vision really is just to build a solid, scalable company, which has all the hallmarks of an IPO business.
It's funny, Colin and I were talking about before you came over here, and it's a theme that comes up all the time on the show, is that a lot of people, when they start learning about this industry, it's like, oh, tech startups, have you heard about the company that flipped in 2 years and 3 years? And then we had Simon from DFJ in here saying, you're talking 7 to 10 years with a company. You're 7.5 years in. Have you ever thought about doing something else? Is that something you tell tech startup people, that, look, this is a really long haul?
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think everyone has this dream that they can flip their company 2 years in and go and work for Facebook or Google. But those are unicorns, right? I think if you're gonna do a startup, you have to do it not because you're in it for the cash short term. Obviously, everyone wants to be rich at some point, but you have to do it because you love what you're doing. You have to do it because you love building a company, building culture, building product, working with customers, and just doing something which might one day change the world. And hey, if you get rich off the back of it, then all the better. I think we're Alistair and I, and a bunch of other entrepreneurs who have been at this for a while and made a bit of money along the way. I think we satisfy our kind of urge to get involved with other companies by doing a bit of angel investing here and there. Getting involved with young companies who they need the money, but also the experience, the mentoring, and just kind of having a chance to spend time with us is really cool. And frankly, the guys that we work with, speaking for myself, I'm sure Ali would agree, though. One of the reasons we do it is because the companies are generally, we see them as being far more intelligent than we are.
Than you are now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How many companies do you have investments in at the moment?
I think I've invested in about 24.
So quite a few.
Quite a few.
And are they based majority in Europe or over in the States?
It's about half and half, I think. So, okay. I mean, generally, I love companies that are based in Europe who kind of have that big ambition that they want to expand to the US. Yeah. But there's a bunch of companies in the US which are founded by Brits as well, who kind of started out there too. And not just Brits, other Europeans. I love SaaS and cloud, infrastructure as a service. People talk about, software eating the world. And the analogy that I draw right now is that it feels like we're in a gold rush. And it's very similar to the gold rush in the 1800s. Now, it wasn't the guys who were out mining gold that made the money, but it was the guys selling shovels. Yeah. And if you work with infrastructure companies, you only have to look at people like Heroku, look at a company that I invested called Bugsnag, New Relic, GitHub. These are the guys that are that are powering the new web. And no matter that most of their customers won't ever become big, these guys will make a lot of money on them on the way through.